Hello and welcome, beloveds, to the first Wake Up Africa show of 2021. I don't even know if I did any in 2020. It was such a crazy year. My name is Dr. Mumbi Seraki. How you doing? How's everything going? I really do pray that you are well in all your ways and that you're moving into living life truly in your own agenda, in your own narrative, so you don't get caught out by Agenda 21. But those are definitely stories for other days. You know, in 2021, there is still some of our African brothers and sisters that are in a modern day slavery situation. And I'm talking about Mauritania. I don't know if I've covered this before, but slavery in Mauritania continues till this day. And actually, a 2018 Global Slavery Index showed that 1 in every 100 people in Mauritania, which is a total of 90,000 people, live as slaves. And all those 90,000 people look like you and me. And slavery is a historic practice in Mauritania ever since, the Arabs invaded, and it was abolished in 1981. 1981, beloveds, but it was abolished in title only, but it was not abolished, in the physical lives of many of our people. Activists actually say that members of the Haratine community in Mauritania, which is the black, commonly referred to as the oasis dwellers, who hail from black African ethnic groups in the Saharan region, are still slaves to what they call the white Moors. First of all, there's nothing like white Moors. The Moors look like you and me, beloveds. They're the ones that went to Europe and tried to educate and civilize the Mzungu. And then the Mzungu came to Africa with that knowledge and said they were trying to civilize and educate us. You know what I mean? The irony of it is so crazy. But anyway, I'm digressing. So it's in this day and age, many of those still in slavery are born into slavery and belong to the white Moors, who form the ethnic elite in Mauritania and control most of the economy. Actually the entire economy, most of the politicians, etc., the narrative of the nation. There's a Thomas Reuters Foundation which wrote in February 2020 that the issue cuts along racial lines, with black Haratine people typically enslaved as cattle herders and domestic servants by the lighter skinned elite known as the Moors. And the fight against modern day slavery has been going on. It's still going on till today. And they actually set up, I think in 2015, Mauritania, they doubled the prison sentence of offenders from 10 to 20 years. They also criminalized 10 other forms of slavery. And previously, the government had actually established an anti-slavery court, a special court actually, called the Nema Court. And in 2016, 2 slave owners were actually convicted. White Moors were actually convicted, and they were ordered to compensate 2 female victims. These became the first ever convictions by the Special Anti-Slavery Court, which had been established in 3 years before. And my big question is, why aren't these some of the issues that the African Union is trying to overcome? And I think for a real African Union that had teeth, the one thing that would be to reunite our global black family, and especially to look at those issues, because Northern Africa, what happened is that, of course, with the Islamic invasion across the Northern African region, there's been this psychological thing to try and make it seem like Northern Africa doesn't belong to the black people, but somehow belongs to the Arabs, including Egypt. And it's just because they totally, if African people were a computer, they wiped our memory, wiped all our software, and then now started installing their own software, their own stories, their own narratives, which many of our people today believe. And then they engineered poverty. So many of our people, are literally just trying to survive. They don't have time to know, Mauritania has slaves. They feel like they're in slavish situations themselves with their own, they're wage slaves, literally. And some are begging to be wage slaves because of the system we've created. So it's just there's so many things, beloveds. There's so many things that we as people need to put right. And we would have so much divine assistance. But unfortunately, many of us are still mentally in chains. And each of us must do the individual work before we can do the collective work. But it's really sad to know that there's still, modern day slaves, our black brothers and sisters, not even abroad, but on the freaking African continent. Let me know what you think about this below. Until next time, beloveds. Tuko pamoja.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, Africa.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Wake Up Africa. My name is Dr. Mumbi. How you doing? How's everything going? I really pray you're well and that you are living your best life and that you are moving towards understanding who you are, where you're from, what your life is about, what your purpose is about, and at the core of you where your power lies and what this life really means to you, because I keep saying we're spiritual beings having a human experience. And a week or so ago I talked about the fact that we've been here before, and I brought up the conversation of reincarnation, and a lot of people hit me up with emails saying what I was talking was blasphemy, and now I was going into ancestral worship and this and that, and I need to repent and give my soul back to the Most High, and I just find it so arrogant when people think they understand someone else's journey, or they try and create parameters or dictate to someone else. And often, the people who are trying to tell you what to do are the more ignorant. Stories for other days. But what it has made me realize is this stronghold of fear and how powerful this entity of fear is, because what the fear that we've been engineered to consume and engineered to experience and kind of have as a deep program in our minds, what it does, it's not just a fear of the unknown, but it's a fear of even thinking. It's a fear that shuts down your mind. It's a fear that makes you afraid to delve into who you are, to look into the mysteries. And this fear is the thing that is holding you in poverty, in misery, in pain, in ignorance, in frustration. This is the same fear that makes you vulnerable to random attacks, to random spiritual attacks, random physical attacks. That's why people become victims of freak accidents. But if you think that everything is seated in the spiritual and manifests in the physical, you should realize that there's no coincidence in life. And if we recognize that there's no coincidence in life, then we must recognize that the things that are appearing in our realities, it's because of what is happening inside of us. But we can't change what's inside of us most of the time, because the fear programming that we operate, that we eat as daily food, has told us that if we do that, we'll burn in eternal damnation, etc., etc.